So have you noticed it's been a little too quiet since the rookie minicamp ended? There's a good reason for that. Behind the scenes, the Chiefs are facing a major salary cap crunch. We've signed the late round guys like Emmett Johnson, Cyrus Allen, and Garrett Nussmeier. But what about our top picks? Well, they're still waiting. Why? Because we really don't have enough money to sign them. Today, I'm going to show you how we got here and the probable moves that are about to happen to save our cap and potentially bring another big offensive weapon to Kansas City. Let's go. But before we dive into the numbers, if you find any value in this video, please click that like button. And if you love the Chiefs like we love the Chiefs, consider subscribing to the channel. Now, to get why this matters, you have to look at the bank account Brett Veach was working with when the draft kicked off. Going into that weekend, the Chiefs had roughly $15 million or so in cap space. Now, a lot of you asked how we got that number after being so tight against the limit earlier in the spring. It came down to two major massive moves. First, the Trent McDuffie trade to the Rams. Moving a first-team All-Pro is never easy, but it did clear about $14 million instantly. Then the release of Jawan Taylor, that added another $20 million in relief. So Veach walks into the draft room with almost $15 million. In a normal world, that feels like a massive safety net. But in the NFL, the moment you call a player's name on that stage, a portion of the money is essentially reserved. The problem is, as we stand here today, that $15 million has almost completely evaporated. So as of today, 3 of our 7 draft picks have officially signed their rookie contracts. These deals usually happen pretty fast for late round picks because the NFL's rookie wage scale doesn't leave much room for negotiation. Let's look at the specifics of these 3 signees because the numbers are more interesting than you may think. First, Emmett Johnson, our running back that we picked at 161. He signed his deal right as rookie minicamp was wrapping up. It's a 4-year contract worth about $4.7 million. Now, he doesn't get all that at once. His 2026 cap hit is about $1 million. Most of that is prorated signing bonus, which is how Veach keeps the 1-year hit so low. The team actually pays that bonus up front, but for the cap, they get to spread that out over the next 4 years. Then we have Cyrus Allen, the receiver out of Cincinnati. His 4-year total is about $4.6 million with a 2026 hit of about $980K. And finally, there's our 7th round pick, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback out of LSU. He probably should have went in round 3 or 4. His hit's going to be somewhere around $915,000. So when you add these 3 things together, they account for about $2.9 million. But here's what people kind of miss. When these guys sign, they displace other players on the top 51. That's a roster rule. However, because we also have to account for our undrafted free agents, guys like John Michael Gillenborg or recent signee Wesley Basaint, that available money disappears pretty fast. I'm also not so sure that any of these guys signed so far is actually going to crack the top 51 rule. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below. After these 3 signings and the minor roster moves over the past few days, our actual usable cap space as of today has dropped to about $6.1 million. So this is where things get kind of real. We still have our 4 top draft picks who are not under contract yet. And because they were drafted way earlier, they are significantly more expensive. Here's the projected cost for the rest of the class per spot rack. Mansoor Delane, our pick at number 6, his 2026 cap hit is projected at $7.2 million. Peter Woods, our late first rounder, is going to cost about $3.3 million. R. Mason Thomas at pick 40, about $2.4 million. And Jadon Canady, our 4th rounder, about $1.1 million. If you're doing the math at home, the total to sign those 4 guys is going to be about $14 million. And now you see the problem because we only have 6.1 left in the bank. That means right now we're about $8 million short of just being able to put our full draft class on the field. This is why you haven't seen Mansoor Delane sign his contract just yet. The money literally isn't there until Veach makes a move. So now let's add in another factor, another offensive weapon that a lot of Chiefs fans are sort of clamoring for in Stefon Diggs. Following his non-guilty verdict on May 7th, he's a clear-cut favorite at wide receiver to be signed. If the Chiefs want to bring him in on a 1-year prove-it deal, you're looking at about $13 to $15 million. On top of that, you have to have a working buffer. You cannot go into a football season with $0. You're going to need at least $6-7 million to...
6, 7, 8! Oh my God! So
You're going to need at least $6, $7, $8 million or so to cover practice squad elevations and midseason injury replacements. So let's look at the total to-do list for the Chiefs front office here over the next few weeks. $7.8 million has to be to finish the draft class. If you want Diggs, that's about $13 to $14 million. Then we're going to need a $6 million buffer for the season. That's a total of about $28 million that needs to be created before training camp. So how does Veach find $28 million when we're already in a deficit? He's got to go back to the veterans we've relied on before. We have 4 primary candidates for what we call a simple restructure. That's where the team converts base salary into a signing bonus. This doesn't hurt the player. They actually get their money faster, but it does allow the team to spread the cap hit over the life of their contract. The big one is Chris Jones. This is a huge restructure if they can get it done. He would clear about $22.5 million instantly. Then you got Trey Smith. He could create upwards of about $12.5 million in cap space. If not Trey, what about Creed Humphrey? He could get us to about $9 million of cap space. And then there's always Nick Bolton, who could free up about $7 million. If Veach restructures just Jones and Trey Smith, that would create about $35 million. That move alone would wipe out the rookie deficit, possibly pay for Stefon Diggs, and give us about a healthy $7 million going into the season. It's actually a move we've seen this front office make time and time again. And with OTA starting on May 26th, I expect that news to break any day now, honestly. The numbers look scary on paper, no doubt. But the Chiefs are actually in a pretty good position to be super aggressive here. Chiefs Kingdom, we have officially partnered with Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports platform. It's distinctly separate from a traditional sports book, and it's the absolute best way to add some extra heat to every single game. The app is incredibly easy to use. You aren't playing against sharks. You're just picking more or less on an individual player projection. Think Kenneth Walker's total rushing yards per game, more or less. Travis Kelce's total touchdowns in 2026, only 4, more or less. You just pick at least 2 players, lock in your lineup, and you're in the action. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, Florida, and right here in the heart of America, Missouri and Kansas. One thing we love is the new public feed. You can actually find and follow us directly on the app at All Chiefed Up. You'll be able to see our live lineups and tell our picks before we even post them here on the channel or our other social media platforms. So if you haven't joined yet, just download the app and use code HMA when you sign up. When you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. Click the link in the description, use code HMA, and remember to always play responsibly. Now back to the show. The question is, do you want to see that money go to a guy like Stefon Diggs, or would you rather keep the flexibility for a trade maybe later in the season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're keeping a close eye on these contract filings, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the updates when these restructures actually happen. We should see something pretty soon. So we'll see you in the next one. Go Chiefs!